All right, it looks like this worked and we are live now. Nobody's here yet, so that's good. Do you want to
I'm
go ahead
pulling
and
up that way. Yeah, I'm pulling up on the other side of the Twitch. That way I can Twitch on the other side. That way I can see the lobby chat too at the same time. All right, perfect. That is a perfect stock photo of me.
I thought I picked a good one. I thought I
No,
picked a good
that's a great that's a great picture.
one. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the OCS Top 8 slash quarterfinal matchup between Mike Kessling and Drew Lichtenstein. They'll be getting underway here in just a minute. Players are logging into the Jump server now. This game was supposed to be broadcast to you last night, but unfortunately, Drew is back in China, and they had some internet connectivity issues. So, thank you for joining us again this evening. I am your streamer host for the evening, Chris Gogolin, joined tonight by recent and multiple time top 4 finisher, Anthony Batmouse Howard. How you doing tonight, Batmouse?
Hey, howdy, hey. I'm doing pretty well. All things considered, I'm doing pretty well. I multiple killer bees are affected by COVID at this time, uh, and my family happens to be one of them.
Yikes. Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. And the guys in Ohio who are just all at the Ohio Mega Worlds Championship, several members of our streaming team happened to be there. And they were all like, yeah, I can't talk. I can't breathe. Can't stop coughing. Can somebody help stream tonight's game, please?
Yep, and that's why another member of the Killer Bees is stepping up, and I'll be here to be wrong about multiple things, but it'll be fun times while we do it.
So, uh, Drew advanced in the first round, winning a close matchup with Mike Pistone. I know his first game was like a +1 differential, and then managed to get a little bit better going in the second game. And Mike Kessling defeated Jared Napolitano in his first round matchup to advance. These players did play, I believe, last year in the OCS playoffs, and they picked each other. They're friends. They play in Atlanta all the time. They've known each other for decades. So it was kind of like a little rivalry thing. They wanted to get it over with. And this year it was like, no, we're not picking each other. And then they ended up in the same corner of the bracket with each other. So it didn't really matter because now they don't have a choice but to play each other. So
Yeah, and you play high enough, you play long enough and at a high enough level, you make friends, and and it's always sad when you have to like team kill a friend,
right,
but if you want to advance, you want to, you want to win championships, you want to win things. Team kills happen.
absolutely. And you can respect each other tremendously and work together with each other to make yourselves better. Off the court or off the field. But when you step out there, I mean, that's your opponent, and they're standing between you and your goal. So you got to do what you got to do to make it to the next round.
And absolutely, while you build together, you work together, you know, it, you do have that inside track of what what the guy sitting across from you is going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how much that how much do you change your course of action, your game plan to figure out what what's going to give you that edge.
Yeah, this to me feels like the classic Princess Bride moment, right? Where clearly I cannot choose the glass of wine in front of you, kind of thing. Where you're gonna go into the tank overthinking this too much.
Yeah, you're just going to wind up, that's the dilemma is, hmm,
Yeah.
I could do this, but I know that you would do this. But if you know that I know that I would do this, then I shouldn't do this.
Yep. And then we're all dizzy. So I see Drew in the lobby already. Now we're just looking for Mike. And I believe they're going to try and play both games tonight, so assuming internet holds up.
Assuming the internet holds up and assuming I don't get called away, I will hopefully be able to broadcast both.
And for those of you waiting in the chat, just hanging out with us, thank you very much for being here tonight. Also, this is the last round, the last game in the quarterfinals. Uh, Dylan already advanced over Gavin. Uh, All Stars already advanced over Werfs. I don't remember. I don't know what happened with that match. I don't remember seeing it or anything about it. And then Yoshi advanced over Treadwell the other night. So it'll be Yoshi versus Dylan in the semifinals, and All Stars 97 is waiting on the winner of this matchup.
Hey, now he's an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Yeah, not a real easy path going forward on that side of the bracket when you. I mean, everybody in the playoffs is a great player,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to run through Desai to make it into the finals.
I mean,
Uh,
you want to win good. You want to win championships. You have to beat good players, right? I mean, the days of getting to the point by just sort of, lowballing your way through stuff, those are pretty much gone. We haven't had really that happen in a long time here. But our esteemed colleague, Mr. Schoenthal, points out in the chat that because of a deck list error, Mike Kessling is actually starting out with a -5 differential that he's going to have to overcome in this matchup. He submitted a light side list that only had 59 cards in it.
yep, and he did self-report.
Yes.
Thankfully, he was able to he was able to catch it, but you know it is a deck list error, and then we have an established punishment for
Mm-hmm.
said item.
Yeah, I'm sure he tried to load up the deck, and Jemp was like, no. He was like, oh crap, I only have 59 cards. All
You have
right.
chosen poorly, sir.
Okay. So let's do that. Let's go full screen here. Looks like we've got Mike Kessling playing ISB against Drew Lightside playing Watch Your Step.
And away we go.
All right. So Kessling is going to be Dark Side. He's starting Mob Points. He's starting IAO. And he's starting Endor Shield. Drew's going to start the I Must Be Allowed to Speak combo, Walkling, and Squadron assignments. All right, so you've probably played tested this matchup a few times against one of your fellow teammates, Mr. Ryan Jellison. Who do you like in this matchup?
Um, so it funny, me and Ryan actually we we theory craft a lot, but we don't actually play it a lot together. Um, ISB is one of his favorite decks though, and you see that a lot from the design.
Mm-hmm.
Um, him getting to make a bunch more ISB characters to really flush out this deck. Um, ISB is ISB can get put into a tight corner at times, but I think the reduction in drains and the which are negated because of the I must be allowed to speak combo, where you have two smugglers, but the ability to drop massive power for really cheap, it could be the deciding factor here.
Yeah, I would
It
tend to
really,
agree. I think this game is definitely going to have its more than its fair share of battles compared to some of the other games that we've seen so far. So I think that may be the case. Now, obviously, the Watch Your Step deck Drew's running is going to have a better time finding access to his pilots and his ships, and depending on what ships, how early Mike can find them, and win a space battle or two, may influence the pace at which this game goes. But the lack of weapons could also be something interesting. Watcher Step, not known for playing weapons a lot, and that kind of is what ISB wants to see. Like, weapons are usually their path to removal for getting rid of multiple characters, because other guys have high forfeit and all kinds of crazy game text and stuff. So should be
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, and you have the early Commander Mirzek. You know I assume he either you Drew pulled the "Don't do that again" shield to shut off the activation bonus from mobilization points. But going Piet to Merjek, I assume that another shield would come if if Mike had dropped the "They must never again leave the city"
Right.
for the free Emperor or the free Executor.
Yeah, if he was going to do all that turn one, we definitely would have seen that right away. Just recapping, like you said, Mike pulled the executor with mob points right away. Then the "Don't do that again" shield came out, suspending it. Piet and Marijic to the executor docking bay, which he pulled with IAO. And then using Marijic's text to pull Bestman to get that into play. So, and then that was his turn basically. That was his 5 force. He didn't draw any cards. He's just playing with his opening hand still and everything that he pulled out of his deck.
Did get the bridge, the blockade flagship bridge down, so getting a nice Twix down and bumping your activation early.
That's true. Yes, he's up to 10 already at the end of turn one. So it went from 5 to 10, and he'll probably get at least one more icon here potentially from Drew, whether it's possibly two if he pulls Moss Eisley.
Plus, he could pull Mos Eisley, he could pull Corellia,
Yeah,
or have it in hand. That's a nice touch.
he pulled Corellia with Watcher Step, and then
Oh,
there's the Moss Eisley. So now they're both up to 12 apiece. By the way, I'm doing a little extra play-by-play for Chris Schoenthal, who's driving home and listening in the car. All right, Drew's going to start off cautiously. He's just going to draw. Curious to see if he stops at 12 or goes all the way to 14.
14, our new soft cap with the drop shield, drop and thrown back shield.
Mm-hmm. But now this is where you get into that we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Knowing your opponent and knowing who you're playing against, is Mike the type of person who might have, he probably has a masterful move combo in this deck. Is he the kind of person who would also just throw a Monarch in?
So hand control, you're not, the days of really hurting somebody with multiple uniques in their hand
Mm-hmm.
are kind of over, but it could happen.
Yeah, we certainly have a lot more diversity in some of these decks, and both of these decks aren't really going to have lots of multiples of characters. Maybe like one or two Tarkins, maybe like, two or three Lukes might be floating in this deck, but you may even have different personas of Luke. So you're
Right.
probably not going to catch anybody with the Monarch Lost, but certainly putting him back from 13 or 14 down to 8 could.
Really kill tempo, and you get to pull random cards out of that too.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really just destroy. Somebody uses a once per game pull, he puts them over the limit, and then you hit him with the Monarch.
Absolutely. Uh, Mike taking another very just casual turn here. He got out the Spaceport docking bay, which went to Corellia, and then also pulled the Endor docking bay, and now he's just drawing, and he's going all the way to 14. And he's going to save 6. So both players activating 14 force. They both have a handful saved and very large hands.
Drew with 18 force active, 12 in hand.
Some people are
Goes to pull Kessel.
now. Some people are saying in the chat that the new Naya Num has a bug, which I'm not aware of, but maybe you know about that.
I haven't seen it yet, but I can look around on the backside.
We're on Drew's second turn here. He's taking Kessel into hand with Watch Your Step. And now we'll see, does he deploy it and try and set up the Kessel run or the Kesseling run, which is the name of another successful podcast in the Star Wars CCG universe. Oh, Drew's going to go ground first. Captain Lando into the cantina.
Captain Lando, when you initiate if a battle was just initiated here, may exchange a card in hand with an interrupt of Destiny equal 4 from reserve deck, reshuffle. Once per game, if you have completed a Kessel run, may return your Lando to hand. Lando to the Cantina will allow for pulling Blasted Door Kid. Kind of a safe-ish way of satisfying ground for the moment before you can really build up your forces.
Yeah, he's a real versatile card. Lando's going to get joined by Mara Jade. That's going to get him a used pile pull with the new combo card. He also deployed Dash and the Outrider from hand. He didn't match for it. They were both in hand to Corellia for -1 each. So he flipped. That cuts off 2 of Mike's activation, bringing him down to 12. And Drew still has 8 force left to work with after getting any card he wanted out of his 10-card used pile.
He deploys Anakin's lightsaber from hand on Amara Jade at the Cantina, and they are joined by Talon Card.
So definitely stacking up that Cantina, and Talon's gets another used pile pull as well. People in the chat speculating if holding the spaceport docking bay would have been a better idea until Kessel actually hit the table to put the spaceport docking bay at Kessel to try and reduce the drain, but it wouldn't really have much of an impact on it because of the new combo card there. They're likely going to have 2 smugglers at the battleground at Kessel, so
Yeah. The thought being that you put it at Corellia because you can when Dash and the Outrider runs away, when the Falcon runs away, and they essentially evacuate Corellia, you can you'll have a safe location to drain 2 on the ground, and keep them from using It's a Hit to cancel that drain and looping that. Gives you a more secure drain as opposed to battling into everything at Kessel.
right. Drew moved the Outrider over to Tatooine, so he's got Tatooine and the Cantina covered now, and saved 4 force and passed the turn over to Mike. He's got plenty of options with that 4 force between various interrupts he could be playing here, between barriers and, like you said, Blast the Door Kid, or
It's a trap.
It's a Trap, or what's the space one? I can't think of it.
Alternatives to fighting.
Nah, the other, moving to attack position.
Oh yeah, moving to attack position. It doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
But it makes you makes your ship fully immune. And if there's a Corellian pilot, it also gives you +2 power.
Right, which to dash makes him an 8, which you're subtracting more than from your opponent. Unless they've got Is it Vanden Willard prevents that from happening?
No, Colonel Wolf Yularen.
Wolf Laren, that's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Commander Van Willard
Light side
is a
card.
light side.
Totally.
He's still a spy.
Yeah.
But
Totally thinking of the wrong card there. Mike's going to get They Must Never Leave the City Again out, and he's going to deploy the Executor for free. Drew opts not to waste the shield pull on the Goldenrod shield to make him pay 2 He already has 18 force. Probably not doing a lot for him. And, I mean, Blizzard 4 might be a possibility in this deck, but I
I
think.
mean, you could also potentially see the Emperor and Shuttle. But I feel like Tarkin is much better used elsewhere in ISB.
Right.
But I agree. There's not much is you're not accomplishing much by playing the Goldenrod shield.
Right. He got the don't do that again already to slow him down early. He needs the grabber out. He's gonna need aim high because ISB is gonna start retrieving a guy every turn. And potentially with these drain bonuses and things, you might need ultimatum.
Ultimatum.
Yeah.
Yeah, ultimatum would probably be the fourth shield.
Right. Yep.
Ozzel and Sergeant Tarl to the Endor landing platform. Puts him one ISB agent away from the flip.
And now if he does flip, which he does right there now with the aforementioned Commander Wolf Yularen, who's going to let him activate a bunch more. If he does Docking Bay Transit to Tatooine, he can reduce the drain at the Tatooine system because he doesn't have 2 smugglers there.
That is true.
And then also pull resistance to make the drain in the Cantina only 2.
He'll have to decide where he's going with the third battleground, but absolutely.
And as we.
And there's the
Yeah.
Lieutenant Deidre Miro, new card, set 21. When deployed, may target an opponent's spy present to be power equals 0 until end of turn. Once per turn, if an ISB agent on table may place a card from hand on youth pile, the next ISB agent you deploy this turn is deploy -1. That's a fun little addition. So you can cycle your deck,
Yep.
deploy a character for cheaper each turn, and it is already a power 3, ability 3 ISB agent.
Yep. Solid character, good stats, and like you said, the deploy -1 is once per turn, but it's either turn. So if you want to use a card like I Can't Shake Him virtual to deploy a pilot aboard your ship during your opponent's turn, you can make that even cheaper by using Deidre first, putting a card down, making that guy only cost like 1 or 2, and cycling a card back that you can track around. As we see Drew use Antilles maneuver to deploy Nyan Nub on his opponent's turn. So it's like we talk about it and then they do it. This is crazy.
Madness. The other benefit with DiGiamiro, you said I can't shake him to pull, I can't shake him V to pull a pilot character.
Mm-hmm.
That also allows you to get your stormtrooper reinforcements down for only 2 force.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a reacting stormtrooper for 2 force.
That's absolutely
That
correct
works.
too. Yep. Those Stormtrooper patrols get a little bit cheaper. So Mike's going to go to his move phase. He moves Piet aboard the Executor.
Oh, and there's the discussion of the bug of Nia Nub, who apparently has universal text currently, limiting the executor to attrition less than 7.
Oh. If we click on the Executor, it says immunity to attrition less than 7 is what he's limited to. from Nian Nub. That's kind of... They're going to try and play around it as best they can.
Little gentleman agreement. I won't. Drew says, obviously, I won't play into it. E.g., if you're not at his system, I will only do battle where I expect to crack 12.
And Mike doesn't believe him.
Sure. There's a little silent threat, laying over his head.
Mm-hmm.
I promise not to fight you, but you shouldn't fight me either.
So, by the way, Ngorsky, Yoshi, and Jedi OSU, thank you guys very much for renewing your Twitch subscriptions. The Players Committee always appreciates that. Marajik moves over to back up Deidre. And
And
Resistance
he
does get played, so yeah.
limits the damage in the cantina, but with me and Nub going down, the drains are going to be safe because of I must be allowed to speak in Smuggler Blues.
Mm-hmm.
You now have 2 smugglers in space. So Drew set up to do 3 damage here on his turn.
Yep, he'll get 2 in the cantina, 1 at the system. And then he's got 8 cards in hand, and he'll be activating 15, so he'll have certainly plenty of options to work with. Mike's gone into his draw phase. He's drawn up to 14. He still has 8 left. I think he's cycling back. He cycled back a card with Deidre just so he could draw 1 more. So we could certainly see all kinds of reacting troopers and battle interrupts and things if necessary from either side right now.
Colonel Wolf Yularen lost from hand to the force drain of 1 at Tatooine. Drain 3 at the cantina. Reduced to force loss limited to 2. We see an Agent Callus and an Officer Evax hit the lost pile for Mike from his reserve deck. We see a useless gesture shield.
Ooh. Drew using Talon card to peek and reveals Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith from opponent's hand. Now that's certainly a guy Watch Your Step is not overly fond of.
Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, targeting ability, not defense value.
Right.
Really kind of chew through your smugglers a lot sooner than you'd like.
And getting rid of a guy like Talon Card who's adding to defense value, who's adding to forfeit of other people, can certainly open things up a little bit. Or if he just concedes the cantina, Drew's going to have to go somewhere else to get more damage in. And Vader's, a guy you certainly wouldn't want to see because he can easily take a character out of battle.
Drew using Walkling, using 3/4 to go pull an effect. No deploy cost and deploys on another card into hand from reserve deck.
So it doesn't get the Kessel run, he gets the Unita. Okay. He may be trying just to spend force here.
Yeah, he deploys Koran Horn to Mos Eisley, gets him another use pile peek and pull.
Yeah, that's 3 now. So the only one left is Mirax.
There's a projection of a Skywalker played on the indoor landing platform docking bay, reducing that drain to 1. And then Tatooine Celebration comes down. And there's Kessel. 9 force left, 6 cards in hand for Drew.
A little bit risky here because he's obviously going to stack a bunch of cards, and then whether he doesn't want to move away from the celebration, and if he, we'll see what he starts stacking
Ooh.
here. Could be some pilot
Oh,
combos, yeah.
stacks a Falcon. An all wings combo.
And there's the Han to go with it. Okay.
Well, at least that's a little less of a bite.
Yeah, if you're going to stack stuff, you want to stack stuff of the same combo, not of different combos.
Right.
When it's Han and the Pulsar Skate, you're like, oh man, now I'm now I'm screwed. All right. Well, he does it in 4 cards, with the escape pod being the final card there. And as we see the wild card get deployed now. So what do you think? Maybe he shuttles up Corrin Horn to the wild card and then moves the Outrider?
That looks like exactly what I'm gonna do. Do you move the Outrider? I think you might just move the wild card over
Either
to
one.
Kessel and
Yeah.
force him to have an answer.
Yeah, that's probably better to protect the celebration.
Yeah, you have to work a little bit back, work a little bit backwards because you do have retrieval. So you can, while you're gonna eat, you know, 4 damage this turn, you're really only eating 3 because you'll retrieve 1 off the bat. 3 turns of pulling cards off the Kessel run. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you can eat this damage for a couple of turns.
Yeah, I think both.
Maybe
I think both players are in that spot where they're like, I'm doing 2 or 3 damage and retrieving 1. He's doing 3 damage and retrieving 1. Like, I think they're both okay with that.
yeah, this is one where you're not in a rush um to to risk the game by trying to stop your opponent early.
Right,
Um,
and we know Mike already had. I'm sorry, Drew already has the Hujix because he pulled it the turn before. So
mhm. So Drew got to have either an alternatives or the it's a trap. He's saving 3, passing turn.
hmm
Um,
he's definitely representing. He's got tricks up his sleeve, but sometimes you really just have to make your opponent play them, right?
yeah, you always want to make your opponent have the answer. You can threaten that you have the answer all you want to, but until I actually see it,
Right,
I don't know that you have it.
right.
I yeah, you want those answers out of your opponent's hand as much as possible, especially when your opponent only has a 6 card hand. The more cards you can take out of his hand,
hmm
the more you can do safely.
Yep, and we know one of those cards is Unita, and we know one of those cards is the Hujix. So then you're like, well, what are those other 4 cards?
Hmm.
And is the Unita to get the Hujix back?
Well, he just lost a Luke Skywalker Rebel Scout from hand, and he did have an It's a Hit. See if Mike grabs it. Nope, they're gonna let it go. What cards are you looking to grab against Watch Your Step?
There's just so many good ones. All Wings is always a good one if you're going to be battling in space, because you don't want them getting around any destiny limitation you might be doing with things like Imperial Command or other Tarkin canceling stuff or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some people like to grab Control Tunnel Vision. I'm not really often a fan of that. I'd rather just let it get stacked on a useless gesture. It's a hit. It's a hit's a good one. It could be worse is a good one. There's a lot of annoying cards, and usually you need 2 or 3 grabbers to really do it right.
Yeah, 2 or 3 grabbers would really make you happy. Um, then you do have the Lando Kessel Run puller
Hmm.
card that whenever you pull a card off of the Kessel Run, you get to retrieve a retrieval force. That could be pretty annoying depending on how many Kessel Runs um, the Watch Your Step player is running.
I would think he's only got the one in this situation with the celebration. I think it'd be overkill to play multiple Kessel runs here, but Mike's going to take his time here. He's going to force push. He's got 21 force active. He's got 3 left saved.
12 in hand.
Yeah. So he presumably is going to go get whatever he wants. Yeah. And obviously, if you're going to battle in the cantina, you have to account for the fact that Lando's going to go exchange a card with an interrupt and get whatever he wants, which will be presumably something to avoid the battle, whether it's paying 3 for it's a trap or just pulling a card like the
Blastador kid.
Blast the Door Kid. But then obviously there are cards that cancel those and counter those, and if Mike has that set up, that could
You
obviously
know,
be helpful.
it really does come down to a game of answers: is who has the right answer at the right time.
Yep. And this could easily be a game where one little battle going slightly the other person's favor could make the difference, or one little Nyan Nub bug could make the difference.
Yeah, that's 100% a thing. That could be the difference, in moving the executor over in front of the wild card at
Mm-hmm.
Kessel, potentially allowing you to get in a continued drain two. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of little things that change what's going to happen, especially in match play.
Yeah. Yeah. Without the bug, you might feel more comfortable moving to Kessel and blocking that, and assuming, all right, he's got a 4 card hand. Maybe he's got one other pilot. He gets 2 destiny. What can you do about that? If you're immune to less than 12, you're not as worried
Yeah,
about it. Immune to less than 7, and he's drawing 2 destiny, and he's adding, 2 to the total because of the wild card. Now
yeah.
suddenly,
The match
yeah,
taking a good long look
he's
for
got a,
that force push.
he's got a lot of options in there.
21 cards. That's full third of your deck.
Right. You would assume Mike had a game plan for this is what I want to do this turn. This is where I'm going to go attack him, and I'm going to force push to go get the other card that I need to make this attack successful.
And saving three in reserve deck, that could be could this be the shuttle? Oh well, there's Mara Jade in ship
But
and
she's
BT-49 Decimator.
but Mara's already on the table. What's going on here?
Oh, Star Wars cards.
And Corporal Art Vandalay going to come down as well.
His family owns Vandalay Industries.
Very successful architecture firm in New York, I hear. Take an ISB agent into hand, or if you drew one, cancel and redraw. Now you've got Gideon going over here to the spaceport docking bay.
Imperial Enforcement hitting the table. So now you have potentially 2 redraws on ISB agents each turn.
Yep. And there's that Choke Vader going to Moss Eisley now. Now it's only a drain of 1 because he controls the cantina with a smuggler. So Mike
But if
definitely.
he adds an ISB agent there,
Mm-hmm.
it'll go back to being a Drader too.
Yeah, Mike not respecting Drew's 4 card hand and deciding I'm just going to go wide and push through as much damage as humanly possible.
Right. And of course, we know that one of the cards being Unita, so really it's a 3 card hand.
And what the other
And the other,
one's
and
Hujix, right?
Hoodrich,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
All right, so Mike is going to battle at Kessel. We'll see if what answer for that Drew has. Does he have the Chewy to react? He does. Does he have a canceller for the react?
a barrier would be great here. No barrier,
No barrier, no Giek combo. Maybe he's
no
debating.
Lana Dobreed combo. That would have been great too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's still debating it, but
It's one of those things where you're thinking to yourself, nope, we're just going straight to
nope.
Battle Destiny. Okay.
There's a 5 and a 5
It's almost like he knew those were together there, thanks to Deirdre.
Drew draws a 3
And a Luke, which you can take in a hand.
and a 4. He's the best smuggler around.
So let's give him a total of 9. So both things for dark side are going to die. Both characters for light side are going to die. The wild card will get the stay.
But it takes away his ability to take a card off of Kessel Run during the move phase this turn.
Yeah, it does require a smuggler being there, so he's not going to be able. That's going to slow him down a little bit. Obviously, whichever character he wants, he'll lose last, and then he could Unita them back into hand if he wants to get Chewy back. Most likely. But now Mike is down a ship, and Drew is just down some pilots, which he's going to retrieve between Unita and Celebration. Oh, actually, Chewy's going to get retrieved with Celebration. Oh, and the Executor moves over to Kessel.
Now he's really not respecting that 4 card hand.
Well, I mean, we know it's Unita, Hujix, and Luke, right? So.
Yep. And then one other card.
Right, and he doesn't have like a control tunnel vision in the lost pile that he can play to. So if that fourth card is a control tunnel vision, maybe. Han is stacked. He put the Falcon back already, but Han is still stacked. So, I mean, I guess you could argue. Well, no, because if he doesn't retrieve, he could pick up.
He could Unita the Chewbacca and then
Maybe match for the
well,
Falcon, but that's probably going to be active by this point.
yeah, it'll be activated.
Whoa,
Whoa.
that doesn't look right. Drew's playing the Unita Shield, which is unique and will completely negate the card in his hand.
Unless he's doing it so that he can go drop a beat on Moff Gideon.
I think that might be what he's thinking. I think we're going to see Luke Luke is going to deploy cheaper there.
And so would Chewie. Chewie would go down 2/4.
Yep, Chewie would also be cheaper because it's all rebels are deploy -2. Interesting. Very interesting. I think he really has an aggressive. Well, how he can't get Chewie back? Well, he's got to send Chewie used with Celebration now, I guess.
He doesn't have to retrieve a Celebration though. He could always pass the retrieval.
Right, but now he can't Unita to take him into hand because he played the Unita Shield because it's unique.
Oh, you're right. I guess he could retrieve and then have Mirax.
That would be about it, as if Mirax is that last card to get a use pile pull.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely an unexpected move. Let's see how it works out for him, Cotton.
Drain 2. Mike loses Dark Collaboration from hand and Min Canoe. Virtual from reserve deck. Loses an Officer Evax to the Drain one at Tatooine. Tatooine celebration to retreat, using a force to retrieve Chewbacca.
Oh, Talon card peeking at another random card reveals Kirkanos. So he did have the Kirkanos to go with Vader if he did want to try and go battle at that cantina earlier.
Hmm. Maybe just checking Destiny with Squadron Assignment, flashing Luke Skywalker Rebel Scout.
Yeah, it's the only thing he can really look for at this point. So he's going to give them both some free information here. There's Luke going after Gideon to the spaceport docking bay on Corellia.
Comes down for 5 force because Spaceport Docking Bay adds +1 to pilot deploy for light side.
If that's all he's... Wow. Okay. So yeah, so if that's all he's doing is just making Luke a little cheaper when he has so much extra force, that...
Oh, there's a revert.
Oh, looks like we're backing up quite a bit here. So Luke's going to come down and get deployed. Okay, there's an I can't shake him.
And that revert made my laptop explode.
He does get Lieutenant Pol Treatum on the Executor with the I can't shake him, so that'll give him a little more durability up there, and reducing the attrition by up to 3 might offset a little bit of that bug. Drew did grab the I can't shake him, and now we'll get the battle between Gideon and Luke over at the spaceport docking bay. Well, everyone in the chat is certainly agreeing with us that they're kind of confused as to what exactly Drew is thinking with that particular action with the Unita. Maybe he'll let us know after the game or something. We can figure out exactly where his line of thinking was on it, or maybe we'll see it as it goes on here. But both players go right to Battle Destiny. Drew draws a 1. He draws another Mara Jade. Uh, Mike draws a 5 and a Force Push, which means he's going to win the battle. And Drew's going to have to lose 2 cards to keep Luke around. Luke's immune to less than 6. So Luke doesn't have to die. He is going to lose the 2 Force. He loses the Unita, which he can no longer play, and the Elor's Medak off the top of his reserve deck.
A little confusing. But everybody has
Mm-hmm.
their reasons for.
And maybe he just forgot that it's unique. Mara bounces out in front of Vader. And I'm sure the wild card's probably going to have to move away here. I doubt he gives up the celebration to move the Outrider over.
You send the wild card over to Bestman. You stack.
Luke Docking Bay transits in front of Marajek and Deirdre. Wild card does go to Bespin. I mean, realistically speaking, how many ships does this ISB deck playing? Maybe they've got a third one?
Yeah, potentially they could have you know, they could still have Emperor and Shuttle. You know, any leader still gives you 2 battle destinies in space. The Emperor is a good Destiny 6 to have. Um, but he also does have the Hujix in hand, so he's not
Right,
too afraid of letting the wild card get beat up a little bit.
right. I mean, even if it's a Star Destroyer like a Vengeance and a Pilot or something like that, he takes a little bit of force loss and pitches the ship, but he just retrieves the
Well,
ship back with Celebration. So
he still covers 9, but the other thing is, well, Chewie would be deploy 4, right? Not deploy 3, because he could use an Antilles maneuver virtual to go pull Chewbacca the wild card.
and that's another option too, because he might have other pilots like a Wedge or a Theranet
Right.
that he could Antilles maneuver for if necessary. Right now we've got Mara staring down Vader. We got Luke in front of Marajik and Deirdre. I mean, he's mitigated and blocked some drains here for sure. And now it's just going to be a matter of Mike only has a 6-card hand. What does he have left to clear some of these characters off?
Well, I think he's got a Kirkanos.
I mean, that's a start. I'm sure he's got another Imperial to go with him. The question too is how many cards does he activate and save, especially if he's going for like a Tarkin this turn? How many more cards does he want to draw? We also know where a 5 is because, well, several 5s are active. Oh, no, he grabbed the I can't shake him. But he knows, obviously, the 1 force he spent for Pole Treatum, and then there's a 5 on top of it. 2 cards down. So, I mean, he can activate 17. That would leave 4 in reserve deck if he leaves 1 or 2 less. And then deploys 1 or 2 people and Tarkin, and then draws 2 or 3 more cards.
Yep, and him starting down 5 in this matchup to begin with. You don't want to empty your hand and then draw up with Tarkin. Essentially, you're reducing what you got in hand.
Very,
Reducing your life force.
it's very true, and especially in match play where you're playing for differential like that. I mean, obviously you have to make sure you win the game first, but you're right. Obviously, you don't want to draw too many cards. But there's still enough stuff going on here, and Mike's deep in the tank, still trying to figure out how much to activate here, or he went to go refill his whiskey.
Oh, there's a action timer has been requested to be disabled from CoffeePass side.
Yeah, because he's realizing, Mike, you haven't done anything in about 3 minutes. And there's a significant timer difference. Drew has 31 minutes on his clock, and Mike is down to 21 minutes on his. All right, so Mike does activate 15. By the way, folks, if you ever get stuck in a situation like this, just activate a force. Just activate 1, just to reset that jump timer.
5 minute time, 5 minute movement timers.
Right. You have a 5 minute to take any action, so just activate 1 force. There's an action. You know you're going to activate at least 1.
Force drain for 1 at the end at Kessel. Drew loses Val from the top of the reserve deck. Drain of 1 at the landing platform. And Drew loses I'm ready for anything. The Mara puller.
Mara in battle. And that's a good one to play out of the lost pile now for him, too.
Yep.
Mara
Adding 2.
adding 2 to a just drawn battle destiny. Yep. Could definitely make sure he clears Vader. Might even cause some overflow. If he hits him first.
Hits him, adds another smuggler. And we're really picking up the pace there.
All right. Well, Mike's going to drop. There we go. He drops Major Partagaz to the
Party
party
guys.
at the docking bay and adds Tarkin and draws 2 extra cards.
There's a masterful move combo to cancel the Tatooine celebration.
That's pretty big right now because he's probably only going to battle in one spot.
Yeah, you just want to bury that celebration if you can.
See if Drew wants to Walkling for it to get it back, or he's okay just letting it go. It does free him up to move the Outrider now to Kessel if he wanted to do that. Now that the celebration's gone, he doesn't have to babysit it anymore.
Drew just got to verify on Mike's deck. Says I see a theme there. I'm gonna go with those are all fives.
And that's what he confirms for us, that they indeed are all fives. Suddenly it makes you think about battling in other places, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Well, let's see. You can clear Mara, and you can clear Luke. Um,
and make him burn the
you're gonna
Hoojiks, yeah.
and make him burn the Hoojiks, and then you're still gonna get a retrieval on a ISB agent. I mean, that might be worth it with a 4 card hand. You clear him off of both his site. Yeah, you're gonna lose Vader, um, but now you can move in and block the Cantina drain. You move back and you block the Bespin drain, and he's draining you for 1.
Oh, he's going to add Kirkanos.
19 power at the docking bay.
That's clearly going to force the Hoojiks out of... And maybe that's the card he's waiting to grab. Here comes the blast the door kid. And that's why the Kirkanos probably went down, right? Because he can cancel that.
Yep.
He's going to grab it first and then cancel it. Okay. It's
Good
not
call.
it's not unique, so he could have then immediately played it again with the useless gesture. So yeah. Now we're going right to Battle Destiny. This is going to be more than enough power to get rid of Luke and force the Hoojiks out, probably.
Well, because Tarkin is also going to cancel
Mm-hmm.
Luke's battle lesson, which
Mm-hmm.
you had there in net.
24-6. So, yep. Now, he can battle for free again if he wants to just clear Mara and call it a day, trade characters, and he will. I like that.
I like that too.
You're taking the weapon out of play. He may or may not even hit you. Well, he drew a 4 to start with. This is probably the 3 underneath it, unless he shuffled.
Should be the 3. Oh,
Uh,
and 5 Kessel Run.
a,
That'll
sec-
work too.
a second Kessel run. Uh-oh. Looks like we were wrong. So Vader is hit. No sorry about the mess or anything.
Draws a Tarkin's Bounty, Destiny 5. That'll clear Mara.
Yep. There's the Lebo. So both characters will die. No overflow for either side. Well, the Mara interrupt doesn't do anything, Joker King. There's no... I mean, he'd add 2 to the total, but it doesn't change the outcome in any way.
Yeah, he'd already he lost the fight by 3, I believe. Yeah, he lost the fight by 3. So even the added 2 from the Mara interrupt wouldn't have done anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fun to take one more card out of your loss pile for tiebreaker counts, but you may actually need to be able to pay to play some cards with the useless gesture too. So, and then he does move 3 people into the cantina. We've got Deirdre, Partygaz, and Tarkin moving in there. Executor moving to Bespin.
There's a walkling for the Mara Saber.
Now that could potentially be interesting for the interrupt that we were talking about earlier, because it gets them both, doesn't it?
It does.
Let's go back and
But
scroll.
he'd have to have a second. He'd have to have a second Mara in the.
Deploy
I
Mara.
believe that he even is it a mix and match, one from hand, one from reserve deck.
Yeah, it's an and or.
There's docking bay transit from the Andor Lightning platform to the spaceport docking bay, moving away from that projection of a Skywalker.
There you go. All right, so deploy Mara and a lightsaber simultaneously from hand and or reserve deck. So if he has a Mara in hand or knows where the other one is because he drew it for Destiny earlier, he could potentially get them both right back out.
Drain 1 at Tatooine. Eats a force push from the top of Mike's reserve deck. Peeks and finds the dark collaboration.
Not really a surprise. Yeah, he did draw Mara for Battle Destiny in that Luke versus the Grand Moff battle a turn ago. So depending on where he thinks it is, maybe there's a possibility of doing something with it.
And we see Wedge Antilles V coming down on top on the wild card.
And there's Mirax to the Cantina, getting another his last use pile search. Yeah, Dan, Han stacked on Kessel Run. He's got Han stacked over here, along with an escape pod combo and an all wings combo.
And he tried to use squadron assignment for the Chewbacca. Falcon was not there. So giving up a verify.
And revealing that he's got Chewbacca. So that was the one card in his hand. And he is going to shuffle some people now. Wild card goes from Bespin to Tatooine. Outrider goes from Tatooine to Kessel. And it looks like everybody in the Cantina is running away to Mos Eisley.
So, and Drew is shield busted now, so we probably won't see resistance for an ultimatum from him. I mean, the Cantina now a drain of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Talking Bay a drain of 2. And Han Solo comes off of the Kessel run.
Yeah, these are some big drains here. 2, 4, 5, 8. He's going to get drained for this turn.
Yep. But you could play It's a Hit from the lost pile
That could be a thing.
to kill the drain of 3.
Or if he finds a
But
controlled
he's
ton of vision and then it's a hits the docking bay, that could really save him some force.
yeah. Saving 1. You had the best smuggler around to pull a Kessel Run out of the reserve deck.
So there's the second Kessel Run. Okay. And drew all the way up to 10 cards in hand. He's got 13 down and 1 active and 10 in hand. Mike with 18 active now, 1 saved in his reserve deck, but only 4 cards in hand. And now Drew's going
As
to.
of right now, yeah, Drew stepped away. As of right now, we're really close. We're 23 to 24, but the drains are just about to crack this game right wide open.
They definitely could. I'm expecting Drew in his 10 card hand has multiple cancelers for the Tatooine drains.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only going to lose like 3 or 4 actual cards. And then he'll position himself to retrieve those with Kessel Run.
It's a hit from hand.
Yep, that cancels the Cantina drain. Yep. No control. Maybe he's not playing any control televisions.
I mean, some people don't like it. Destiny is low. He loses. I'm ready for anything, and moving to attack position from hand to the Tatooine docking bay 94 drain. Or Rio Durant to the best one drain of 1, and the Spaceport docking bay drain of 2. We're gonna see. Here's that head scratcher moment. And you've got 21 life force left, and you're giving up 2 cards.
Well, he pitches the second Kessel Run because honestly, deploying it at this point and stacking 4 or 5 more cards does not sound ideal.
No. And an all wings from the reserve deck.
Well, he's got lots of good cards in his lost pile now for defensive interrupts, at least for space battles. But I don't imagine Mike having much left in the way of ships. So it's really just going to be that executor moving around the rest of the game, I think.
Your 4-card hand for Mike is the time where you're just looking to mitigate the damage and just let the math do the work? Or do you think there's one last bit of aggression left in his deck to um, try and really turn that math faster?
With just a 4 card hand, I don't know that he's well positioned to do that kind of stuff, and he is just going to go to move. I was thinking if he had like 1 character deploy to Moss Eisley, move the 2 from the docking bay over, so you just have 3 for 3 on 3. But he is going to move to Tatooine. Interesting. The one drain that he doesn't have to worry about that would have been -1. Instead of moving to Kessel, he's just going to use resistance to, cap the Kessel drain at 2. And then he's going to docking bay transit over to Tatooine, move Ozzel and Tarl over there. Is he going to try and squeeze him? No, he's just flipping guys. Okay. Maybe he's just trying to spend some force because he realized he's not going to do, wasn't going to do what he thought he was going to do this turn.
Teapot combo, the card that Drew takes off the Kessel Run. So it'll be the second card from the bottom.
Mike retrieves
Agent
an
Callus
agent.
can retrieve.
Yep. And I'll probably draw 5 or 6 cards.
Draw 4. I mean, how many more do you really want to draw here? You're squeezing out your differential portion here.
Well, it's not too bad because obviously Deirdre can put cards back like he's doing now, and if he draws extra characters he doesn't need, he can throw them away to the drain and then have more guys to retrieve. So he can move stuff around a little bit, set up some destiny draws like he's doing now, using an accelerate. He's got about 15 down still, and again, Mike is playing with that 5 -5 penalty for the deck list error.
And the other thing is Drew it will finish this Kessel run at the end of this turn.
Mm-hmm.
He'll retrieve 4, put another card back, and then Chewbacca hits the table, and then there goes Mike's retrieval.
That is certainly true. Mike cycles a card back with Deidre. Drew activated everything. And he's doing some drains here. Mike's losing a Deidre from hand, a Tarkin from hand, and one more card. An Accelerate from hand. And now we're basically back to even. They both have 15 down, and Mike's got 6 in hand and Drew's 5.
Still potentially set up to do 7 on the ground. I get okay. So the reason you move over to Tatooine is again so you can prevent the loop of It's a Hit with the Mirax.
That's true. Push your damage through faster. Especially at this point in time when you haven't seen any indication of a controlled tunnel vision. It's really just the It's a Hit that's going to procrastinate this game.
Well, there's a Mara Jade in front of Ozzel and Sergeant Charles.
And he's going to move. Will he split characters and move like Mirax over with Mara?
I think I'd rather see Lando go over. The reason being is because if you send Lando over, you can pull if you have another Black the Door kid, it can't be canceled by Dark Collaboration because the Ozzel, Admiral Ozzel is there. So
Mm-hmm.
Dark Collaboration doesn't work because you don't have 2 non-Ozzel ISB agents to cancel that. It's a trap. No, moving back into the cantina.
I think he's just trying to block the drains here. He's shuffling everybody. So Mara's going to be solo against Tarl and Ozzel. The other 3 characters, including Lando, where he could, like you said, potentially pull a defensive interrupt. He just retrieved all wings combo, Kessel run, moving to attack position, and Rio Durant by completing the Kessel run. And basically just stacked everything in front of everybody to just block all the drains.
So still gonna get a drain of 2 at the spaceport docking bay for now.
Mm-hmm.
But if Mike initiates a battle, then you get Chewbacca on the react as well.
he does have enough force saved for that, and we do know Chewie's in hand because he tried to reveal him earlier with squadron assignments.
Losing, he's the best smuggler around from hand as well, and Antilles Maneuver V from the reserve deck.
Tarkin's bounty. Okay.
On Tarkin. So he'll also get to peak top card of any reserve deck.
Yep.
Will have four powerful.
I'm assuming he knows what his destiny is, but now he can definitely know what his opponent's is too. Although these are probably the cards. He didn't retrieve the Antilles Maneuver, but that would be force he spent to move people around.
He was an Agent Callus.
Cal's going to add a destiny.
And he gets to peek two cards of the top of his reserve deck. He may reveal two cards. Take one in hand.
So he's getting himself an extra destiny while simultaneously Tarkin giving him the ability to cancel one of his opponents, assuming the battle goes through. And we know he's got the Dark Collaboration. He could draw all four for Battle Destiny here if the battle again goes through, clearing everything. But these guys do forfeit for a lot. Like they all forfeit for 8 apiece. Lando's 8, Card is 8, Mirax is 9. So unless these 4 cards are better than 17,
He's not getting it overflowed.
he's not getting all 3 characters. He would only get 2. All right, we are going to see a battle in the Cantina, though. See if Lando has any tricks left up his sleeve. We're going to get that reacting Chewie. Who forfeits for 10.
Casually.
Yeah, he's just 10 forfeit. No big deal. And there is the Dark Collab. So we're going to get 4 Battle Destiny. I mean, if they're all 5s, he just drew 20. That'll get 3 characters.
5, 4, 4, 5. And it indeed was 5, 4, 4, 5. Accelerate, Stormtrooper Garrison, Ceasefire, and another Dark Collaboration.
Don't do that to me, man. I thought I was lagging. I'm like, what's going on over here? How did you know exactly what these cards are?
I'm doing a little tracking of my own.
Mm-hmm. So Drew draws 2 4s. Tarkin cancels one of them.
And probably give away Major Partagaz.
Yeah, he's probably the least valuable character at this point. And it's going to be 18 attrition. You don't want to lose Chewie because you don't want him retrieving any more people. But if you don't, it's the other 3.
Well, you could do Mirax and Lando, or Mirax and Talon covers it.
That covers 17.
Oh, you're right. I got to be Chewie.
It's got to be Chewie, or he's got to lose the other 2. Oh, he's got
Oh,
choke.
he's got choke to eat the attrition.
So now he can just lose any of the characters remaining, and he loses Talon card. Choke was huge there. Okay. And now do you move the Executor away? Yep, he does. He's got Ice Hard at Mos Eisley. So really it's just a drain of 1 at Tatooine. He doesn't get to retrieve because Chewie's on the table still.
Still try to refuel anyway.
And it does get canceled by Chewie there. I was wondering, does he have to pay for it first and then have it be canceled? Because that would suck.
Mike saying that he hates that Wookiee. So Mike at 13 in life force, 4 cards in hand, drew with 18 in life force and 2 cards in hand.
He's going to pick Lando back up. Interesting. Could be making a move to go after Iceheart with Lando and another character.
Or he goes after Ozzel and Tarl.
He could do that too.
Because that would give him 2 destinies with a Mirax. Or with a Mara, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if he doesn't have another character, putting Lando down with Mara and clearing that the docking bay out would be beneficial. But if he has another character in hand, the 2 of them could go after Iceheart and potentially cause a little bit of overflow. And that's where he's going.
Yep.
We haven't seen Mike pull a Gick or anything yet, so. And it's Kira is the other card. Okay.
And he used his Master Roll move combo to cancel the celebration earlier.
So he's going to battle with Kira, causing a force loss. He's got 5 power and 2 destiny, and these are probably going to be pretty good because he just cycled back a 5 and. Or it's 2 4s again. I forget exactly where we're at here, but even still, it's going to be a pretty good spot. Iceheart covers.
Iceheart cover to 7 on our own, and then add a battle lesson, which should be a 5. Could be Dark Collaboration or V.
Gets it to 12.
Mm-hmm.
If Drew draws 2 5s here, oh, he draws the Theron net, so he only gets to 12. Her immunity is limited to 7 by the end nub, as Bill points out in the chat. So, Iceheart will die. Lando will go away. And then we'll probably see. We could see Kira move into the Cantina. Unless he's got the It's a Hit back in hand. In which case, then Chewie moves out of the Cantina.
Yeah. If he was running 2 It's a Hits, that'll be fine too. Chewie moves out. He's probably running 2 It's a Hits. One is in the lost file. You can cancel the Cantina drain.
Oh, he shuttles down Wedge off the wild card. Okay.
I kind of want to send the wild card over to Bestman because you want to move. Oh, he moves it down to Corellia.
It's guaranteed drain down there. You know your opponent can't reach.
Well, but that drain is a drain of 0 though. Kind of the ISB agents.
Or he's got an It's a Hit.
Yeah.
If he has, I guess it gives him options, but you're right. It's not really going to do much because the ISB agent's at the docking bay. Bestman was probably the better place to move that to.
Yeah, because then you can threaten damage, and it has to be answered. You got to answer that damage.
Right. Even if he goes all the way to Coruscant, that's still just a drain of one as well. So
Hmm.
Drew picked up some cards. He's got 9 in hand now, although he's going to cycle back an all wings combo, which does not find a Falcon. So I guess the Falcon's in his hand at this point.
Or is that unfortunate buried bottom card of his force pile?
Could also be a possibility there. See what kind of drains Mike's able to get in here. We're going to start with the drain at Kessel.
That's going to get a Kessel run from hand. Falcon for the Cantina drain go through.
Ooh, that's going to sting. Falcon from hand, moving to attack position from hand. All wings combo from hand. And now he's getting 2 more at the docking bay. This is a good sequence of drains for Mike for sure.
Projection of a Skywalker from hand. Well, that momentum really got moving, and then it just kind of all feel like it ground to a halt.
Kind of fizzled out, although Mike better pick up the pace a little bit. He's down to 9 minutes on his clock.
For those that don't know, on a timeout on Gem, um, the player that times out loses by the life force plus hand of the player who did not run out of time.
Mm-hmm. So while Mike's actually ahead in this game now with, 12 to 11, if he ran out of time, he would lose by 11. Plus the 2 in hand that Drew has, actually 13.
Yep.
Then tack on the 5-point penalty, and it'd be a loss by 18.
Oof. That 18 is very hard to come back from. Mike peeking to the top of Drew's reserve deck. See Deputy Director Harris Ison hit the table
And no escape. Okay.
for Iceheart.
When during deploy phase, a unique Imperial ability less than 3 here can make a move. Okay, they can't move to him, they can move from him. Okay. Well, I mean, we know that's a 5, right? That's the dark collab he drew last turn.
Yep.
So again,
And he'll either get the Kira or the Chewbacca.
and I think Mike's okay with either of those being gone, because either way, one's causing problems for him. You've got Kira causing force loss for initiating battles or force drains, and you've got Chewie blocking him from battling. But actually, he's just going to draw. He's going to do nothing except just block the drain and say go.
And so Drew gonna be able to drain him for 1 in space. Um, Drew will want to probably initiate a battle on the ground
Probably.
with Kira to do another 4 damage. Um, yeah.
Do you battle there, or do you battle at the docking bay and try and just clear Ozzel and Tarl out of there?
Um, Ozzel Tarl feels better.
Yeah.
Um,
clearing both characters and only losing Wedge.
Yeah, you only give up Wedge. And then do you docking bay transit over to the spaceport docking bay and block that drain?
Maybe. Oh, he's got Han in hand. Okay. I think he's going to battle at Moss Site, or maybe he's going to move them all in. And we have our first Melas sighting. Yeah, he's going to battle and do the Kira ping. So Mike loses the Gick as his last card from hand. Neither player has anything left in hand at this point, and they both have exactly 11 cards face down.
Rio Durant, Destiny 4. All Wings combo, Destiny 5. Power 22.
Yep, that's going to clear both characters. And now the question is going to be forfeit-wise. Well, if Mike draws a 5 again, that gets him to 13. Drew's thinking about adding one. He's trying to do the math. Because these guys only cover 9. That gets him to 17. He draws a 5. That gets him to 22.
He can't, though, because he got a... Oh, there's a Destiny draw of 6, so it's not going to be... Well, Kira, because of her text, cover the... Oh, only battle damage.
Only battle damage, yeah, so...
You have to give up the Han. You need that Chewbacca to prevent the...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he was thinking about maybe adding one with, playing an interrupt from the lost pile to add one to see if he would get overflow, expecting Mike to draw a 5. But we see a surprising Never Yalnal. And now the wild card lands at the docking bay. Okay. It's not doing anything in space anymore, I guess, right? So...
And now he moves the Outrider over to Bestman.
Yeah, that'll increase that drain a little bit. Or potential for drain, obviously. Maybe now we finally see the Executor and the Outrider squaring
Square off.
Yeah.
Drew still hasn't played a card from his lost file this game.
Does he know how
So he
Wonder
has the
Step
ability.
works?
Does he know how the Outrider works?
Yeah. That's true, because it is the virtual Outrider, where he does get additional power and maneuver and immunity.
Mike is going to drain 1 at Kessel. Drew loses all wings combo off the top. 3 at the Cantina. We're going to see Rio Durant from the reserve deck. It's a hit from the reserve deck.
That's a card he's certainly been looking for a while. It might influence how he plays now, having it there on the lost pile, where he can at least cancel a drain next turn with it.
And Theron net from hand. So Drew down to 7 cards in Life Force. Mike with 11 in Life Force. Going into a battle phase. Skipping the battle phase. Going to the move phase. And I think you're right. Executor should move over and block the best one drain.
Mm-hmm. Now you have to deal with, the Kira drain is only 1, but there's the additional force loss.
Yeah, so it's still feasibly a drain of 2.
And he does move Tarkin out. I think that's kind of telegraphing that Tarkin's going to end up in front of Kira next turn. Mike's down to 5.5 minutes on his clock. Drew still has 18 minutes. Mike picked up 3 cards, but he's going to pitch 2 of them right here probably.
So we might accelerate our plans and Agent Callus from hand. A lot of shuffling.
He moves from Bespin back to Tatooine. We're going to see the It's a Hit cancel the drain in the Cantina, so he's just going to lose 1 to the drain at Bespin. Now we'll probably see Mike activate, shuffle his guys from the docking bay over to Mos Eisley. That'll kind of be his turn again. We'll sit here staring at each other, basically death by 1,000 paper cuts.
And there's the It's a Hit from the lost pile.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's one last ISB agent. Do you risk it and send that ISB agent over to the Endor landing platform for another drain of 1? Drew's only got five down and 1 in hand.
If it was a second, if that last card is another ISB agent, I think I'd go to the spaceport docking bay and try and battle there, just overflow it, empower, or clear that off completely, and then possibly docking bay transit and split whoever's left up.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's another guy. Because, I mean, he'd have like 10, it'd be like 10 to 2. And I mean, I know the wild card covers 6 of it, but he may also be looking at trying to kill Wedge. Oh, he's just going to go to move phase again. He's just going to shuffle everybody around. Executor moves back to Tatooine. Tarkin, Ozzel, and Sergeant Tarl move to Mos Eisley.
Draws 1 into hand. 7 life for down Mike. Drew cycles back a escape pod combo. Mike cycles back a card from hand.
Yeah, he's got to have 2 ISB agents to cancel with Tarkin, so that's why he didn't split those guys up. And as for battling over here at this, you know, the wild card, like I said, covers 6. So between what they're both going to draw for Destiny, the wild card's probably going to cover it, which means it's going to be one guy left staring at Melas, and that's not where he wants to be.
That last card was a ceasefire from hand.
Mm. It'll be interesting to see exactly where these guys end up. Justin points out that if Mike wins by exactly 5, and then with the penalty, it's basically 0. That would be interesting for sure.
Yep.
I don't know.
Again, just some shuffling.
Yep. I don't know that Dan's voice works right now. That he could pull one of those off, Justin. But I appreciate the trying to stay on theme here.
And he just moves cards.
Wedge moves over to Moss Isley. Mara goes into the cantina. So all the drains are blocked. So Drew's basically saying, you're going to have to battle me somewhere. And he plays an interrupt from his lost pile.
I believe he's
Interesting.
just trying to boost the outrider on immunity to attrition.
So he's going to play He's the Best Smuggler Around for 2 to take a card off a useless gesture to put the It's a Hit back in his lost pile. But it doesn't leave him enough force left to play anything for this turn. But I mean, I guess if you're Mike, you're looking at a possibility of battling Mara, but I mean, it doesn't really get you very far.
No, I think. Well, he just checked the top Destiny for Drew. I think you're looking at forcing the subject and canceling one of the Destinies.
And battling into Moss Isley there,
Yeah,
probably.
battling him most isolating, canceling one, the second Destiny, and whittling off. You'll get Wedge. He's not going to give up Kira. He's not going to give up Chewie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he
Oh,
does.
two battle listings versus Mara though.
Oh, there's the
Never
never.
yawn all.
That was on top. Okay, maybe he might get some overflow here. 6-5. Ooh. She forfeits for 9. She covers 14. He draws a 5. Okay, so no overflow.
But the canteen is cleared now
Yep.
of Mara.
Mar.
Agent Callus hangs around.
Yep. Mara's gone. Callus gets to live.
And now Drew's got to choose whether to eat a drain of 3 in the cantina or try to battle through um, the Tarkin stack.
Mm-hmm. And he is going to battle to cause the force loss from Kira. He cancels Chewie's game text, but makes him immune to attrition. Okay. So he draws an all wings for the first Destiny, which does get canceled by Tarkin. He's got Lebo for the second one, so he's got a 3 for his total, bringing him up to 15. There's a 5 by Mike, bringing him up to 14. So they're both going to lose one character here. Probably Tarl and Wedge.
So he's going to eat that drain of 3 in the cantina.
Yeah. Nothing he can do about that at this point.
Mm-mm.
He eats the drain of 3 in the cantina. He can battle. Now, obviously, Tarkin can't cancel right now. Mike could shuttle somebody down, which might be what he has to do.
I think that's the move because you're taking your opponent down to one battle listening afterward.
Right.
He's not going to be able to battle through.
He's going to peak with Tarkin's bounty. So there goes the. I've got a good feeling. And now Mike's going to look at his destiny. He might just battle himself.
Yeah, I mean the battle is you battle up at the executor, or do you battle at the spaceport docking bay?
Maybe he battles in both places, knowing your opponent can only draw destiny in one of them.
Mhm.
He battles in space first. Power can't be reduced. There's the 5.
So now the next one will be a Destiny 6.
He doesn't. Drew doesn't draw. He's just going to top deck the final 2 cards and give Mike the game. Mike getting the win by 7. Yeah, they're pretty high stack there. If he draws in space, he doesn't really do a whole lot, and then he gets battled into on the ground. And he doesn't really have any other way to do damage to his opponent because he's not draining anywhere, so he's just going to go ahead and split it up there. So it's Mike plus 7 minus 5, so Mike by 2.
28 in Lost File.
They're going to take a quick bathroom break, and Mike has to talk to his wife for a minute. So I'm going to go talk to my wife. Batmouse, go talk to your wife, and
I'm gonna go talk to him.
yeah,
We'll be back in a bit.
we'll reconvene back here in a minute for game number 2, I guess, and then we'll give away a Gemp AI pack since we're being pestered by that in the chat. All right. All right. So while we're waiting for game number 2 to start here, let's give away a Gemp AI pack. Can we think of like a random trivia question or something? Um, Yeah, how many times did I play Carl at Worlds? Carl, you already know the answer to that question. How many times did Carl beat me at Worlds? Is that the question? I kid. All right, looks like we got the table is up for game number 2 here. All
Chris,
right,
I will be right back.
you go do what you got to do. All right, here's the question. What light side deck is Mike Kessling playing in this game that we're about to answer, that we're about to see happen? He's playing light side. What deck is he playing? Whoever posts the correct answer in chat will win themselves a Gemp AI pack. We got a bunch of different answers here so far. QMC, Yoda Communing, Old Allies, Obi Communing, 0 Hour. Just take a shot in the dark at this point, right? We got a Hitco. We got to watch your step. Throw in a Rescue the Princess. But you only get one answer, so you only get one answer. All right, I think we got all the possibilities covered at this point. No, wait, no, we don't have Diplo hasn't been mentioned yet, or well, there's the speeders. All right. Oh, Tig would be the other one I think that is missing from the list. All right, and for a second AI booster pack, what deck is Drew playing? All right, lots of good guesses. We'll just have to wait a minute and see what exactly The winner is. There we go. Looks like he's back now. All right. Let's bring it on in. So we've got Shadow Collective against ObiMuning, it looks like. So, Shadow Collective versus ObiMuning. ObiMuning was said by Chris Kelly. Congratulations, Chris Kelly. You said it first. And for Dark Side decks, Shadow Collective was the first deck guessed. Large Porg, so Tommy wins. So Chris Kelly and Tommy win in some packs. Congratulations to you, both of you. All right, so Drew starting Shadow Collective with You'll Be Dead. He's also starting with the Mob Points combo here. He pulls Gaul right away, so he's not running Maul with Lightsaber. He's running Gaul, where he'll be trying to remove people immediately from the battle. Don't do that again. We'll come down and suspend that, so he can't pitch it to go get another effect. He starts security precautions as well for the extra force generation. So no inconsequential losses in play yet. So he will not be able to forfeit weapons to the use pile and cycle them back. The other interesting text about Gaul may come into play a little bit when we talk about ObiMuning and its revival, because you can only revive a character that was just forfeited, and Gaul removing them in the middle of the battle means they were not forfeited, so you can't do the I can't believe he's gone to bring people back if they get removed from being shot in the face with Gaul. Mike starting, I must be allowed to speak, Saitor and Walkling. There's Gaul. He pulls the sight. He does it first. Okay, so just in case he was wrong, he doesn't have to put out the first light. So he's got the 2-0, and he gets the reception area out as well. Maul from hand going right to the 2-0. Okay, saved himself a force from having to move. Also puts a blaster from hand on Maul. So fast start for Drew. Getting an extra location, saving a force by being able, and he's going to move Maul right away to the Cloud City site. Very aggressive line of play from Drew right off the bat here. His opponent's activating 8. But I guess Drew, has played this matchup enough to know if he wants to win, he's going to have to be aggressive. And he's going to try and force his opponent into doing something maybe sooner than he's ready to. So Mike's going to use his turn. His first action, he's going to go look for a battleground with Master Kenobi, and then we'll likely see him pull a farm if it's in there as well. He does get Mos Eisley. He drops a grappling hook. Yes, deck list will be posted for the event once it's all done. Players will be able to submit new deck lists for the semifinals and the finals. Mike's just drawn. He did not find the farm, so I'm guessing it's one of the cards in his force pile. And we see an Imperial Detention get played. No grabber shield for Drew. We'll see if Mike wants to play battle order here or just eat the drain of 1 from Maul. Oh, he is going to eat the drain of 1. So with the differential this close, effectively +2, you're just playing to win the game at this point, right? You're not trying to get under a specific number or, whittle your opponent down or, having to come back from with an aggressive approach because you're down by so much and you need a big win. All you're really trying to do is just win the game. So he drains for 1. Mike throws away a Fly Casual from hand. Fly Casual, okay, so either a Tantive or a Tiderium, or both, for a potential space package. And now he's got 1 to lose for You'll Be Dead. And there goes a Return of the Jedi off the reserve deck as well. It's the one that adds a Battle Destiny as a Lost Interrupt. Also gets the Journal or a card with Mentor in title, like Gift of the Mentor. Alright, Drew pulls the first light from his reserve deck. Sends that to Gaul. That'll get him back his You Cannot Hide Forever mob points combo. And Hondo's going to go to the first light reception area. He'll go to his battle phase. He'll flip his objective, recirculate. I assume he's going to move Hondo up to pilot the first light and not just leave it floating out there. But maybe. Yep, he's going to go to draw phase, and he's going to just cause the 1 extra force loss. So Drew's just throwing it all on the table at this point, saying, come get me, Mike. That is a very aggressive line of play for sure. Maybe his hand really is that good. It's definitely an aggressive move in space for sure. I don't know if he's banking on a barrier to save him and not get canceled. Mike has to lose 1 to the Shadow Collective objective and top decks Jyn Erso. Stunning Leader is certainly a very viable option to protect the guys at the ground sites. It's the first light that seems to be dangling out there in the wind a little bit. Maybe he's got a barrier to protect it. Maybe he's got a Gick. Or, it covers, 12? So you could, just lose it and potentially retrieve it or no escape it back or something. Mike plays the Moisture Farm from hand and deploys the Cantina from the reserve deck with Master Kenobi. And now he's got to figure, he obviously has to do something here. He's got to go attack somewhere. Or does he? What's he looking at in terms of damage? He's looking at 3 plus 1 ping from You'll Be Dead. Could he just go set up his own drain of 3 in the Cantina and say he's good? I don't know. I don't think that's how he would typically want to win this matchup. But it does seem very likely that Drew's got to have some type of defensive cards in his hand. All right, there's the Tantive to Gaul. So he is going to go after space first. Seems to be the weakest of the options there. Did you hang up? Are you back?
I am back. Sorry about that.
I didn't realize you hung up.
Yeah, my mother called.
No worries. All right, so he drops the Tantive. Nothing there. He drops the Han Chewy Falcon. That gets barriered. Now he's going to play I don't like sand from hand. He stacks a Master Luke and a Revolution. At which point in time, Drew responds with, as he,
Surprise!
yeah, now he may realize that he's in for some, uh,
Shield
potential
busting action.
shield busting shenanigans, right? Yeah. Drew did not pull his grabber shield. I noticed that to start the game, that he did not play it. Maybe he just had a sneaking suspicion, like, let me wait a minute or two and see what Mike's up to before I waste that shield pull.
It is the era of playing turn it off, and cold feet.
Drew's going to pitch the mob points combo, assuming he's going to go at the inconsequential losses, but yep. I was going to say, maybe he's got search and destroy, and he's like, hey, you want to go to space? That's fine,
That's fine. Let's just cause extra force loss while we're going along the path.
right? Drain for one, ping for one, do the objective damage for one, and search and destroy for one. Ready, go. Probably not the case in this deck, but
Probably not the case, but I mean, it's a nice thought to get the race really going.
mm-hmm. I mean, it's match play, right? So it could, in an open field, no, you probably don't play that. In a match play, it could be,
Sure,
yeah.
all the bells and whistles.
So we get some drains and ping damage. Mike, top decks, were you looking for me? Draw their fire, and sorry about the mess.
The inconsequential losses. Politique.
Interesting if he plays. I was gonna say Gaul's immune to revolution, so he can't revo that one because that would be interesting. But yeah,
Politique, Mighty Java, and Rook.
so he did have characters after all. He is gonna load up the first light there. Probably grab a gun with Shadow Collective.
Have a little bit of forfeit fodder. Draw 2 battle lessons. Force a card off of sand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Balatique only prevents Han from adding a battle destiny, so Han Chewy Falcon still works fine because he's only adding a power destiny there. But I don't imagine Drew's going to battle into that. I think Drew's just going to, stack up plenty of forfeit fodder there for now.
Yeah, and having sitting there with it with Destiny being total +3. Because Hondo and Naka at the site still adds.
Yep. It's for each total battle destiny here is +1 for each gangster aboard. Technically, characters at the sites are aboard the first light.
Or he could battle here because he is going to get to add a power destiny too.
That doesn't work in space, I don't think. If you're gangster leader in battle at a site as your non-unique
Oh,
blaster. So that's not going to work in space. He does go exchange a masterful move to get a Gick. So if he battles, he's drawn to Destiny. He is going to battle. All right, he's going to make him pull the card off sand and make him lose that Tantive, I guess.
If he draws a 5 here, a 6 here, he could clear them both.
Potentially. Not many 6s, and we just saw him play one of them from his hand. It's just a 2. So Ray gets drawn for Power Destiny. Dengar with Blaster gets drawn for Battle Destiny, which it's a 2, but it becomes a 5. So he's already losing the battle. And he draws a 4 for Battle Destiny. So he's down by 6. So he can forfeit the gun for 3, but then he's got to top deck 3 cards. But he does get rid of either the Tantive or the Falcon, whichever one Mike feels more comfortable with. Tantive seemed the more likely, but you never know what pilots and stuff he might have had.
And then he just gives up the Rook because that covers 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he lost a character to get rid of, you know, a very troublesome starship that could have gotten loaded up
Mm-hmm.
with a Lando plus, Anakin plus.
Right. You've got Ray, you've got Hera, you've got all these different pilots who would have a home on a Tantive that otherwise, are just passengers not adding much on the Falcon.
And Hondo Onaka goes up to board the first light, but that means that he loses the ping from the flip.
He does. We know Mike took Master Luke into hand as well. He could go combat Maul this turn potentially to shut down that damage. There is the opportunity also to Walkling for Unita and then get the Tantive back into hand. Yeah, Walkling for Unita and then play it properly. No, just kidding.
Like with 15 force and active 10 card hand, Honcho and the Falcon staring down the first light.
Definitely has some options here. And depending on what order he wants to do stuff in, could get, use pile pulls with I must be allowed to speak. The tension was pulled. So it's only going to work at the farm or any Jabba's palace sites. So if he has any other sites left or wants to deploy guys to the farm to get some use pile pulls here.
Cycle through, peel out the good cards from his use pile. Start building that destiny.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to play Luke and his lightsaber and go kill Maul. I mean, he's got options. He's got 10 cards in hand and 15 force. It's plenty of lines of play to take here.
Well, there's Master Luke. Plus a saber to Maul's site.
Mm-hmm. You assume Drew's got the stunning leader here, but you still got to make him play it, right?
Yes. Got to make him have the answers.
Mm-hmm.
There's an Obi-Wan journal onto Master Luke as well.
That masterful move got grabbed by the grappling hook. If he plays the stunning leader here, that probably gets grabbed by the other, potentially. Wounded Warrior is also a problematic card, but
Come on, where's that bionic hand at?
Oh, Padme will do pretty good.
I'm definitely going to crack through that attrition.
No stunning leader. Interesting.
No force field either. Captain Harrison Dula is a 3.
There's
And a
the.
Goonie Tay.
That would be a problematic card, worthy of using a shield to cancel for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a shot at Luke. Not really going to matter because he can just cancel it. Does draw the 6, though. But the journal should be able to cancel that. And now he's going to play Clash on Maul to just take him out of the battle and not lose anything. Knowing his opponent has the Gick, you're not going to get any overflow. You don't want to lose Padme. Just clear the site and call it a day. Plus, it also keeps him from forfeiting the blaster back into the deck.
Getting rid of those blasters is the big key.
Yep. And now he solidifies his position there. He's got a very solid drain of 2 set up. That would certainly be hard to interact with. So after some early pressure by Drew, Mike seems to have sort of stabilized the game a little bit. He's behind a couple cards right now. He's got 26. Drew has 33. They both have about the same number in hand here. So obviously, the Gaul is the situation over here with this Falcon. That's going to be where the next, you know, turn or so goes. Ouch, as Zuckus gets deployed.
Arsene go to Mos Eisley.
Yeah, the Falcon might end up getting overflowed here now.
Falcon by itself covers 16 plus a battle lesson.
Yeah, he does lose the second battle destiny. It doesn't force him to take the card off of sand, but at the same time, it also stops the Falcon's destiny to power. And he's adding 3 to the total still, right? Bala, Hondo,
Yes,
and Jabba. Yeah. Oh
and he
man,
needed it.
he only draws a 1. Yikes. If Mike draws a 3, so he's down by 5. Probably don't want to peel 5 cards here.
It is only a drain of 1, and you've got a bunch of contention away.
Mike's thinking about it. I don't know that I'd peel 5 cards here, and he doesn't. Yeah. Now we'll see if Drew wants to spread out and move any of those characters. Yep, he moves Hondo down. Yep. And that is correct. The Gaul text, when you hit guys with a blaster or rifle except a permanent weapon, you can once per battle make somebody lost. So if you were to battle into Aura Singh and she shoots you, you cannot use Gaul's text to make that character lost. You can still play like Sniper and stuff, but you can't use her game text or the system's
So,
game text.
right. Hondo Onaka and Mighty Jabba stacked at the first light reception area with a gun. So you get flasher damage, 2 battle lessons. Um, it's a pretty big threat, but with that Luke and his lightsaber preoccupied,
Hmm.
I'm wondering if Mike has uh Navran leads to teleport over, get into a fight over there.
Yeah, the other possibility would be some version of Leia and her blaster. Starting Saitor usually means sometimes you see Leia's blaster rifle, and I think that was the card Mike left off his list. So I think Drew knows that's the card that Mike left off his list. The other possibility here, with Clash on top is if he Unitas back the Clash and then drops like Anakin with Anakin's lightsaber or something, because you can play whoever you want. So, and then Clash is one of those two guys and just leaves Jabba like by himself and Clash is Hondo. I mean, again, he still has the Gick in hand. We know that because he didn't have to play it in the Maul battle.
I think he'd come down, hit Hondo, and then clash him out, getting rid of another gun.
That could certainly work too. I mean, obviously you run the risk of getting shot in return, but it's less of a problem now with Maul off the table.
And theoretically, you'd have another blaster deflection.
Hmm.
Lots of speculation.
So Mike opts not to drain. He drops Lando to the farm for 5. Is going to get a use pile search. And now Ray comes down to Moss Eisley in front of Aura Singh. Going to get him a second use pile search. He also moved the card with communing and moved it to the bottom. So once he takes this card, he can then draw that with Ray, potentially setting up what he wants to do here.
And he dash it that and draw the bottom card with Ray.
All right, and we are going to get a battle. Probably just trading guys at this point, but Wounded Warrior is still a possibility. And he does draw a 5, so she is going to be hit. Oh, he gets to subtract 2. I forgot about the hut. Yep.
And now he's hoping to draw less than a 3 for Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And then he can stack Lando and Ray together.
There's that Unitab we keep talking about.
Or he
Drew.
declines to draw.
Wow, interesting. He's not even going to draw. Okay. Lando does move over. He'll pay the maintenance to upkeep to keep him on the table. And he's got 2 solid situations here, but battle order is out, so he would have to pay for drains, and he's only activating 14. Oh, and that's huge. There goes a Leia Rebel Princess off the top.
Can't believe he's gone from reserve deck.
And a Yoda. Some solid cards there for Mike to be losing. Drew's got to be happy about seeing that.
Sith Fury. Just go back to get the maul. Yep.
And he used the objective to play a blaster on Balatik.
Maul to the teleport for like Dryden's study site. Now, do you send that Maul? Do you teleport him over to the farm?
Certainly seems like that might be what Drew's thinking, as Danik Jericho also goes to the farm with a gun. That we could be seeing Maul about to bounce his way over there in the move phase for sure.
You get the flip of the objective, recirculates. Ray draw the bottom card for Mike.
Yeah, Drew's definitely in a good board position spot here. He doesn't have much left in hand, but he's definitely got some very solid damage going. He's got 3 drains of 1 plus 2 ping damage right now, plus the objective doing a damage because he's at 3 battlegrounds. And there goes a harvest as well. Somebody in the chat was just asking about that, if that was a card in this type of shield busting deck.
You want the retrieval. Even the battle lessons are great too.
Mm-hmm. So he's going to pay 3 to Walkling. He's going to take the Unita. Now he could move the harvest or he could Unita back the harvest. Secret Plans is out, but there is no code clearance shield out.
Muting the top card of Force Pile to the bottom, and Ray drawing the.
He actually didn't move the card. He left it there.
Oh, he left it there.
So he's just blind drawing that. He's going to pay to drain. Okay.
Jabba through with you and a Dryden Voss, both from the reserve deck. Drew. He's in a spot where he has to get damage in, and Luke is already committed.
There's the Owen and Baru combo. Now we're likely to see the Unita for the harvest. And that's exactly what he does play. And now Drew plays to turn it off to pull out the code clearance. Okay. Well, he already lost Draw Their Fire. Unless he was thinking about getting that back. But that's kind of a clutch play there. Gonna get that stacked on code clearance and make all the retrievals minus. Now, usually you want to Walkling first, because now you can't Walkling the rest of the game. Mike's going to retrieve Leia, Rebel Princess. Probably Jyn Erso. He lost her earlier.
I think the thought here is that he needs that one activation from Walkling.
Probably more likely is that you're right. He's going to need that, because if he's going to be paying a drain, and this is probably all the locations we're going to see hit the table this game.
Yeah, he needs that extra activation. He couldn't afford to give up that one.
So it's Leia Rebel
Not until
Princess.
have the interview. Yeah.
It's Draw Their Fire. It's Yoda, Master of the Force. And he'll have one more card. Sorry about the mess. So
Here's the
definitely,
force to maintain Lando.
definitely seems like Mike's on his back foot here, which is kind of where he's been playing this whole game from behind. Drew's got excellent board position. We're talking about 1, 2, 3 drains, a ping of 2, and then at least one more ping at the end of the turn from Shadow Collective. He's doing 6 damage a turn for free, essentially. Definitely in the driver's seat.
To the run, Luke, run. Oh, sorry. So he lost escape pod and Luke Bionic Hand to the pings. Run, Luke, run to the first drain. Lost in the wilderness.
He's playing Lost in the Wilderness to cancel the drain at the moisture farm. He's going to make one of those two guys missing.
He makes that Danik Jericho.
So Danik Jericho is now missing. So for those of you not familiar on your search party rules, during your control phase, characters can attempt to find missing characters. You draw destiny. You add 1 for each character, 2 if they're a scout. Your total needs to be greater than 5. If it is, then you randomly retreat or find one of your missing characters there. Those characters cannot move or battle for the remainder of turn, but they can force drain.
And he chose not to attempt to find Danik Jericho.
I wonder if Drew knows the how search parties work.
Or if he just knew that his destiny wasn't going to be able to find him.
Also a possibility. I mean, he's got to draw 5 to do it, basically. Seen my fair share of search parties, more than a few occasions, more than a few people hit by an ice storm or a sand whirl, or an always thinking with your stomach. But it does also take away the 1 ping from the blaster, I guess, too, because it's on the character who's missing.
Now, does he move Balatik off of the first light ship to the site and pair him with Hondo? But, Nabrin Lees is still, he does that.
Yep.
And he'll move over Jabba. I wonder if he's running defensive fire because that's one of my favorite combinations with Gaul on table.
It's a really good card. Firing when they battle into you and you fire at them at +2 and then get to fire again later.
So that defensive fire shot is actually +4 with Maul and those guns.
Yeah. And between that plus potential for Wounded Warrior or something like that, I mean, it can be a really lopsided battle.
Mike loses a another Padme Nabiri from hand.
Now Mike's moving a card. Now if he was tracking, and that's something he retrieved from the previous turn, he knows what order they're in, and he just moved something exactly where he wants it to be.
Actually, the draw their fire.
I was thinking Leia. Drew's got 10 cards active. I don't think draw their fire's going to make much of a difference at this point.
And the retrieval's gone. So
Mm-hmm. I think he's looking for that Leia Rebel Princess. Probably try and get her over here on the first light. Cancel these drains. But Drew is definitely in the far superior position at this point, and I would say favored to win the match from this point. I don't know that there's a whole lot left that Mike can really do.
right, because so you're looking at Yoda Master of the Force, potentially Anakin Skywalker. But really, who's left after that? This is the majority of that package. Well, Leia Rebel Princess in front of Maul
Hmm.
for the Force file for the youth file pool.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that he's paying to drain and not really getting any damage. There's the neighboring, so that's what we were looking for. And he is going to move Luke and Padme in front of Hondo. That is going to get grabbed. Somebody was saying earlier about putting Leia down on the first light, putting her in front of Hondo to sort of block that drain in that situation there. That would actually be incredibly risky because of Wounded Warrior. Oh, and Leia's getting a blaster rifle. Now this could be interesting. Can he shoot Maul?
You'd have to draw a 6 to do it, or a 7 to do it.
It is a
He'd have
black.
to 6 because he's subtracting 1,
Right.
because Maul can subtract 1. Hmm.
And yet he just moves away.
He could have taken a shot at Hondo there.
I guess with only the one Destiny left, he didn't want to risk, not being able to swing and clear him and cause overflow and stuff. And Drew's got Jabba's twerps, so he's going to do a once per game retrieval and get 3 force back. And that's just going to put him further ahead here.
Second point man.
Yeah, this is a bad spot for Mike for sure. I don't know that he's got much left. He's just going to eat a bunch of damage again. And Drew just got a whole bunch, even more cards back, and
Yeah, and then Maul, with that point man, now he's got, and there's the concession.
yeah, not much he could do at this point.
No.
Well, Batsy, thanks for jumping in and joining me in commentating on this game, and thank you to everybody for watching. Congratulations to both players on a well-played season, and good luck to Drew moving on. He'll be facing Justin Desai in the semifinals.
And then you have Dylan and Sam Tashima on the other side.
You want to make a prediction? Who's going to win? Who's going to make it to the finals?
I, I'm biased. I've been working for a while now with Dylan. Dylan's a former Killer B, so I have to go with the Killer B side.
All right, so you're taking Dylan. I'll take Sam. And then in the other
Okay.
matchup, we've got Drew versus Justin.
Uh, that one's man. I really like both of that. I really like both sides of that. That one. I'll go Desai on that one because I just coin flip. They both have D's in their name.
There you go. Then I'll take Drew, and we'll see how it works out.
All right, sounds good.
All right. You have a great night. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next time.
And may the force be with you.